You went from 70 million euros in payment volume to 1 billion in literally 2 years. Can you pull the curtain back for us? What does 10% month-over-month growth really look like?
Last year, it was more around 15 to 20. That's more like slowing down a bit because we are reaching a certain size. When you process around 5 million euro per month or 10, when you multiply that number by 10 in just 2 years, you create tension everywhere inside the company. You have to resize, you have to reshape, you have to re-engineer all your process. So we don't have any strategy for retention except having the best product and being customer obsessed. And that's the only thing that we apply today. And the good thing is that we don't have churn today on the customer base. In each and every decision that we are taking, even if it's hard ones, it's always in favor of the customer.
You've spent over 10 years at Orange Africa. How did you go from an executive corporate role to working on your own idea? Walk us through that transition.
Being at Orange, I had the chance to have very visionary managers, and I've worked in Eastern Europe, I worked in Middle East, I worked in Western, Central and Eastern Africa, and in France, basically, where I'm from. A lot of very interesting experience that kind of developed my vision of things, vision of infrastructure. When I was working in those big corporates, I was saying to myself, if you don't quit now, you will never do it. And like every year, the same period, the same sentence, if you don't quit now, you will never do it.
Okay, so talk to us about your Series A. How long did it take you to raise the $8.5 million, and how are you putting the money to work?
So it was long, to be honest, it was almost a year. But it was a bad period, we started in September 2023.
Okay.
And we closed
funding
it
was down.
Yeah, so down. And valuation and everything. And we closed in July 2024. The money didn't arrive at that time still. So I would say that the complete operation finished in September. So it lasted a year. So I pitched to at least 30 different funds. Yeah, we had almost 10 second round with the funds. I hate to say that, but it was very hard to choose because we were oversubscribed for that round.
Today's guest, co-founder and CEO of Hub2, Ashley Gauzere. Welcome to the pod.
Thank you very much, Gideon.
Tell us about Hub2. What does the product do? Who is it for? And what's the main problem you're helping solve?
So Hub2 is a fintech company. We are focused in French-speaking Africa mainly, and we do provide interoperability solution to the world financial sector. So basically, with one single API, you can access all the major financial infrastructure, such as mobile money, banks, POS network, agent network to reach your customer. And we do specialize into providing infrastructure. So it's a very horizontal, I would say, financial infrastructure. And we help our customer to get verticalized. So meaning more specialization on their specific targets.
I'm curious, what was the aha moment for you? When did you realize that there's a big problem here and that you can actually build a solution for it?
So it was a while ago, I would say around 2017, where we saw a very big fragmented ecosystem where all the major mobile money company they were kind of fighting and battling for their market share, and they were kind of also protecting their own customer base, and they didn't want to see any I would say easiness to use either their solution or the others, and they just wanted to have their own ecosystem and without opening it. And I've seen that before, I would say a long time ago, when the mobile phone companies, they came into the continent and they didn't want to open their networks to other type of calls. So when you were within M10, you were paying like 3 or 4 times the price to call to Airtel or to Orange. And that was the same move. So I said, yeah, we might do something for that.
Now, give us a sense of the size of the business. Where are you? Where is Hub2 in terms of team, revenue, and users?
So last year, like 2024, we were processing 1 billion euro worth of transaction volume. It's growing more or less 10% per month currently. We have 35 people in the team. And yeah, that would be it. And the revenue was around 15 million euro last year. So quite interesting size for us, and gave us the means of pushing harder and reaching more countries, putting more effort into the R&D to have the most stable and the most quality infrastructure around those countries, and to work on the future of the financial services. So yeah.
Super cool stuff. I want to hone in on that 1 billion euro number. You went from 70 million euros in payment volume to 1 billion in literally 2 years. Can you pull the curtain back for us? What does 10% month-over-month growth really look like?
10% it's currently, because last year it was more around 15 to 20. So it's crazy. Yeah. That's more like slowing down a bit because we are reaching a certain size. So keeping a pace of 10% on this type of size, it's big per month. So I mean, it's a crazy ride, obviously, because when you process around 5 million euro per month or 10, when you multiply that number by 10 in just 2 years, it's like, you know, all you create tension everywhere inside the company. You have to resize, you have to reshape, you have to re-engineer all your process, and obviously we had a very strong backbone that followed us. That we put a lot of time and effort into developing a very stable tech product that were able to absorb all the growth without any major re-engineering. So we are working on the platform every day, and we have a team of 7 people dedicated to that. However, there were no major change and no major bottleneck during that ride. We just had to increase our cloud cost. But yeah, so the backbone was very good. So we just had to concentrate on the other part of the company. So sizing the teams, doing the right process, the right control, doing the right application for regulation, etc., etc. And I mean, that was a hard task. But if we hadn't have those very strong grounds, we wouldn't be able to achieve it, for sure.
How fast do you have to hire to keep up with that type of growth?
Not so, because basically the team size between so for example, at same time last year we were like around 20. So today we are a bit more than 30. It's not so fast, to be honest. So like 1 hire every month or 1.5, depending. And the year before we were around 10, I guess. So it's not a huge push in terms of hiring. We try to maintain our resource low because we strongly believe that it's as our role for infrastructure. We do provide a very competitive business model because we want our customer to build their business model on us. So we don't want to confiscating the value of the interoperability solution. We want to give it to our customer for them to be able to live on it. So for that, we have to keep a very lean structure and rely heavily on automation and automation basically. For this type of volume processing, you can see easily companies with twice the size of our teams. But that wasn't the model from the beginning, and that won't be at the end.
Yeah. So you've talked about the model. Is that something that you purposefully did? Were you building lean on purpose?
Yeah, sure. Because we believe that there was too much, I would say, margin on the sector.
Yeah.
And that was a kind of, I would say, a huge break to the financial industry and to the financial sector in general, and to the digital world. So we wanted to create something like a Swift or SEPA system that would be completely transparent for users, and transparent in terms of, technical experience, product experience, but also price. So no brainer. Yeah. So like today, you use a cloud company to host your software, and we want to do the same for the, I would say, financial interoperability.
Okay, I want us to take a step back a bit to your past. You've spent over 10 years at Orange Africa. How did you go from an executive corporate role to working on your own idea? Walk us through that transition. What did it look like?
It's a long path. No, I wanted to, each year at the end, when it was the best, to be honest, it was the best year of my adult life, being at Orange, because I had the chance to have very visionary managers, and I've worked in Eastern Europe, I work in Middle East, I work in Western, Central and Eastern Africa, and in France, basically, where I'm from. So a lot of very interesting experience that kind of developed my vision of things, vision of infrastructure. And so it was a very good, very necessary experience for me to construct me. But the last years, when I was working in those big corporates, every year I was saying to myself, if you don't quit now, you will never do it. And like every year, the same period, the same sentence. If you don't quit now, you will never do it. You don't do this type of jump when you have like kids, mortgage, whatever, whatever sits on you at a certain age. So just one day, I was kind of fed up hearing this, and in my own head, I said, okay, go. If you don't do it now, you won't do it. So, and at that time, I also had, I would say that's kind of very personal, but a near-death experience. And when I kind of recover from that, I said, okay, if you want to have a special meaning in your life, you have to do what you feel right, and try. And then I just jumped.
That's a super interesting backstory right there. Now, you've mentioned before that Stripe, the US payment processor now valued at billions, has been a source of inspiration, right? Which is similar to kind of Paystack's origin. And so I'm curious, to you, what makes the Francophone market so different that you thought it needs a homegrown solution?
So that the journalists say that Stripe is our model. To be honest, Stripe is not really our model. Our real model is Rapid, which is something much similar to us, which is a more infrastructure play, a backbone of fintech solution, and a massive
Yeah.
business. So I would say that my real aim is to be like rapid than Stripe, but Stripe is a huge company. It's something crazy, and I guess that a lot of fintech should learn from them. But my real inspiration is Rapid, to be honest, or Checkout or Aiden. So we target that. So for the Francophone market, to be honest, it was at the beginning, it was more like we were exploring the market because I worked a lot in those areas, and it was more easy to me to start there. And then progressively, I figured out that there was a very high fragmentation. So in general, if we can summarize, it's a very high level summary. So you have around 15 countries, except DRC, but let's put that apart, with a population between 10 and 20 million inhabitants in each of those countries, with at least 4 main wallets, plus the banks, plus the POS network, plus the agent network, and it was a too high fragmentation to reach a scale. And we said, okay, so either it will stay like that for years and years, or either if we are able to create one single market for the financial industry, it can, in a way, aggregate those markets and be an enabler of growth on those markets. And that was the initial bet of Hub2. It wasn't too much, I would say, overthink. You just think, okay, so it would be around 1/4 of the global population of Africa, but it's a huge work. And if no one wants to do it, we will do it. Because we are kind of hard worker and we're great. And if nobody wants to do it, we will do it. And until we reach that point, we won't stop. So it's more like a obsessive thing than like a BCG analysis, you know?
Got you. Okay, currently you're live in 9 Francophone African countries, but I want us to start at the very beginning. How did you land the very first user? How did you get them to see the value at what you're building at Hub2?
That was hard, to be honest, because we construct the platform. We had those connections with the opcos, for the mobile money operators, and then we tried to sell the solution. So around 6 months in the project, after having the first version of the platform, we were chasing customer. And we were chasing at the beginning e-merchant in 2019 in Ivory Coast. And that was very hard work, because at the end we kind of screened 2,000 projects during, I would say, 6 months. On those 2,000 projects, there were, I would say, maybe 200 or 300, I would say, sign of interest. Around 50 or maybe around 100 people connecting on the platform, but connecting on the back office of the platform, and just maybe 20 to 30 being able to integrate with us, and maybe 5 active users at the end. After 6 months, I said no, I can't. We will just kill the company if we pursue that. So we kind of, as you know, a lot of things in the startup world, you pivoted to other type of customer. So the platform was there, the technology was there, etc. And we kind of pivoted, not 180 degree. We're just pivoting slightly. We try to see if businesses had, I would say, special needs for payment digitalization. It was a very specialized sales process, not a lot of volume, etc. So we didn't put too much effort on that. We saw some market as big as the e-commerce market in Western Africa, such as the insurance digitalization, that were emerging. We tried on it very hard during 1 year, but the sales process were just killing us. They could have like 18 to 24 month sales process with at the end no real volumes. And we continued, pivoted slightly, and there were at that time a kind of, I would say, the second generation of the fintech coming into that phase that were demanding the reliable infrastructure, easy infrastructure to reach their ambition and to reach their market. And when we had those first customers, it just clicked, because the whole work that we've done before on the platform, on the, I said, market understanding, on the rates, on everything, on our infrastructure positioning, just make sense in one time. And we feel that we found our market with the first customer of that type. And the whole thesis of Hub2 was to provide the best and the most reliable infrastructure for the financial industry. So industry grade solution such as Swift or Visa or whatever that can handle several thousand or tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of transactions per day, with the highest quality that you could have, and even better than the quality connected in direct with the payment networks, because we have a lot of redundancy, a lot of error analysis, a lot of automation that improve the network. So at the end, just start like that. And when, then you have the FOMO thing that kicks in. So when someone finds a solution and it's the best on the market, everyone wants to have its own iPhone, and then up.
So things kind of skyrocketed for you from there.
Yeah. But we had the very high, we were very lucky, and we are grateful, because some of the big first customer of Hub2, they give us their trust. And because a lot of money, a lot of effort, a lot of everything. And we were basically nobody at that time. We are still nobody, but a bit less.
I mean, you just raised $8 million. I don't know if you're nobody, Ashley. Okay. Okay. So we've talked about acquiring users. Beyond just that, how are you thinking about retention? Any specific strategies or modes you're doubling down on for retention?
To be honest, it's still a small company, so we don't have any strategy for retention except having the best product and being customer obsessed. And that's the only thing that we apply today. And the good thing is that we don't have churn today on the customer base, because
no churn?
No churn. All the action that we are doing are turned towards our customer. So in each and every decision that we are taking, even if it's hard ones, it's always in favor of the customer, because we are working for them, and they are paying our salary. So at the end, that's the main thing, and we are constantly improving the product and the quality of the product in order to be the best one in the market. And we are not providing a lot of product and a lot of things, but the things that we provide are clearly the best version of what we could do with the resource that we have. So we are like 200% on what we are providing. We are not providing a lot, but we are 200% on what we are providing.
Yeah. Earlier on, we touched on the fact that Hub2 is live in multiple countries. So I want to talk about compliance. How are you handling different regulatory requirements across these markets?
So luckily, we are in YMU zone, and there is a body of regulation that is the same for the world.
Oh, really? In Francophone Africa?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And so YMU, you have a body of regulation which is the same, and CEMAC, more or less, you have a body of regulation which is the same. So we are applying it However, so for example, for the licensing part, YMU just released its own license for PSP. You have to apply country by country, and you have to. So it's a huge work. And for the compliance, at the beginning it was just a technical solution. And 2 years ago we started the first stream of compliance of the company. And now it's a very strong stream, and it's becoming more and more present in the company process, etc., and the screening. And it's a big part of what we do now, compliance, because we are extending our service. We are exposed to international transaction. We are exposed to all the new the regulation that the financial industry has, and we are becoming much more a traditional financial actor, even if we do consider ourselves as a startup.
Now, from your perspective, for the founders who are building something new in the finance space, how should they think about regulation, right? Should they kind of knock it down immediately? Is it something that they should think about once they're at scale? How do you advise they go about that?
That's a hard one, because to be honest, we were very lucky in YMU to be able, and not just me, I mean my competitors, friends, colleagues, etc. Most of us, we were very lucky to start our business without any licensing requirements. So we had time to grow our business. We had time to understand our business. We had time to build some revenues, to build some reputation and brand before the regulation hit. And then when the regulation hit, we were able to handle it in the right way. I'm not sure that it will be the case in any country, and it's not the case in most of the countries that I know.
Yeah.
So we kind of had I would say, God with us on that. We mature with the market, and that's a perfect situation. They're very dangerous also, but if you are conscious of what you are doing, you can thrive on those conditions. Because, for example, our company was always designed with all the compliance body that other PSP in Europe or North America, etc., had from the beginning, but we weren't forced to do it. So we kind of imposed to ourselves this very strict, functions in order to avoid having trouble. And when it basically changed a bit, because you have to document everything, document all the process, but at the end, it's not a change of business. So the advice would be, if you're forced on the market to comply to license and regulation, you have to do it. But the main point is the cost associated to it, because it creates a lot of overhead, and those overhead are costly, to be honest, are very costly in terms of reporting, in terms of resource, in terms of tools, in terms of everything. But it's now I'm seeing it as something very similar to the tech part of your company. You have to invest early to have the benefit of it during the life of your company. And today, to be honest, I'm seeing my regulation director very similar to my CTO.
Okay, so talk to us about your Series A. How long did it take you to raise the $8.5 million, and how are you putting the money to work?
So it was long, to be honest. It was almost a year. But we decided at that time with the size of the company. So when we started, we were around 20. That I couldn't spend too much time on it. So that's why we had a very efficient and very smart advisor on the raise, which is called the Cambon Partners. So we relied heavily on them to introduce us, to prepare, I would say, the deck, the updates, the Q&A, etc. And so I could stay focused on the business during that period. For sure, I was involved in all the meetings, all the Q&A, all the workshop, etc. But without this technical support and without their reach, that network, we wouldn't have been able to do it. And even with the huge growth that we were experiencing, it would have been possible, to be honest. So it was taking too much time, too much time. So it was hard, very hard process, to be honest. The ratio that I guess that they kind of contacted around 100 funds.
Oh,
they
wow.
had but it was a bad period, we started in September 2023.
Okay.
And we closed
funding
it
was down.
Yeah, so down, and valuation and everything. And we closed in July 2024.
Oh, okay.
Closed. So signed. The money didn't arrive at that time still. So I would say that the complete operation finished in September. So it lasted a year.
2024.
So
So
they kind of reached 100 funds. They had maybe around 20 sign of interest. So we pitched to, I don't know, at the end, I don't know how many times I pitched, but I would say I pitched to at least 30 different funds. Yeah, so they had 30 sign of interest. We had almost 10 second round with the funds. So it's all meeting, workshop, whatever. It's not just a pitch. You see, we had around 5 or 6 investment committee.
Okay.
And the 5 or 6 investment committee, they were all okay. So at the end, the last part was, I hate to say that, it was very hard to choose because we were oversubscribed for that round.
Oh, yeah.
So we
That's
had
a good problem to have.
Yeah, but it's a hard problem, to be honest, because it's a good one, to be honest. We are very lucky. We felt grateful for that, but there were a lot of interest at the end, and it was hard to choose, and we had to let go some offers towards others, and at the end, it's a very hard part to do also. But yeah, it was huge work, and I had to be very involved because I was representing the vision and the future.
Yeah. I'm very curious, from a founder's perspective, what makes you go with one fund over the other? Is it the logo? Is it, who they'll put you in front of? What goes into that decision?
I might not be like all the other founders, so I can just say for myself, but it's more like, the human relation, how you interact, if they back you on your vision, if it's just a financial investment or not, will they be involved, the quality of the people that they are, the partner that they're putting in front of us, the quality of the team that will follow the investment, and also the feeling that when the shit will hit the fan, because it will, at a certain point, how do you feel that they will react, So you have to be very careful about, on my side, I was very careful on how they react to human interaction, how they were understanding the situation, etc., because at the time, somewhere in the future, things will get hard, And it's always easy to party with someone when things are nice. To be constructive when things are hard, it's another thing.
Yeah.
So
that's what went into your decision.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got you. I want us to shift a bit from funding into the product. Now,
Mm-hmm.
fraud prevention seems to be pretty important to you and the team at Hub2. So are you leveraging AI at all for fraud detection?
Yeah, so it's starting, to be honest, today. We were kind of very low exposed to fraud. I mean, we had some, but it wasn't major ones. Yeah. And now we are starting leveraging on AI for fraud prevention, but it started with transaction monitoring first, and now it's moving to fraud monitoring, and also it will move to some part of the customer care also to help our agent to automate answers and to gain time and to focus on where the people had value. So it's more like understanding complex case and to alleviate the pain into the customer care position. So to try to ease their work at the maximum.
Yeah.
In order to make our customer care the most efficient possible. But yeah, in the fraud prevention domain, it's still beginning. Why? I will give you a very simple answer: is that as I would say intermediary in financial transaction, especially on mobile money, you have access to a very low amount of information. So basically, you have access to mobile phone number, amount, network, and the time. With that, you are able to run some, I would say, fraud analysis that are not so extensive.
Yeah.
To run more extensive check, you need to have much more information, and that's still a battle with the payment network because they don't want to vehiculate too much information. And but on the other side, the industry has to evolve on that point in order to make it a safer place for the final consumer.
I want us to zoom out a little bit and talk about the Ivorian startup ecosystem and Francophone Africa as a whole, which, as it currently stands, only gets about 15% of Africa's startup funding, which is about half of what Kenya alone receives. What do you think needs to happen to improve investor confidence and increase funding in this region?
Wow. That's a good question. I guess that, like everywhere, what needs to happen is you need to see much more, I would say, startup success to bring more attention.
What is startup success? Is that fundraising? Is that an exit?
No. Like fundraising is at the end. To be honest, between you and me, fundraising is just putting gas into your tank, and fundraising is just the beginning of the work. So if you're able to fundraise, great, but you won't be judged on the fundraise. You will be judged on your result. You will be judged on how much revenue you generate, how much profitability you have, what type of product, which type of country. At the end, you will be judged on your result, not on the fundraise. And so for me, the success would be to see fintechs, and not just fintechs, but digital company in general, to thrive into those markets and to be able to generate high revenue, to be able to stay there, 10 years, and to do some exit to banks or whatever, and this type of thing. So if one day a big PSP in French-speaking Africa will be exited to, I don't know, to even SpaceTac or Stripe or whichever you need. That will be something. If some digital banks or neobanks are bought by big and large groups, etc., etc., and that will bring focus. And I don't believe in more funding for more funding. We'll need to see more exit, more consolidation to bring more attention to the region.
I want you to call you short right now. Where is Hub2 in the next 5 years?
Well, that's a good one. No, so I believe that the next phase for us, to be honest, it's very hard because it could be anywhere. Our plan is to cover all the country in between Senegal and Madagascar, all the countries that are speaking French.
Okay.
In the next 3 years, and have direct connection, have very good grade infrastructure, and to be able to at least multiply by 5 our revenue. And that's the only goal that we have. We don't look in the other way. We want to create one single financial region, financial infrastructure for this whole region. And I do believe that if we reach that, it will enable the growth of those markets like something that we never saw before. So my main and unique goal is to do that. And if I need to create more technology, more R&D to aggregate, I don't know, stablecoin, because the regulation allows us to do a stablecoin based remittance, whatever, we'll do it, because we believe that it's our role to provide the most horizontal infrastructure for all the digital space in those regions to grow. So we'll do whatever it takes to reach that point. And in 5 years, I don't know, to be honest. It's so, like, every day is a battle. So in 5 years, I don't know if I will have, I can't say. It could be we are finishing our last country. It could be something in Western Africa, but not French-speaking Africa. Yeah. It could be, I can't say, to be honest. And I just aim to have a kind of sustainability in my company. I want to keep all my employees. I don't want to be in a bad situation where I have to fire people because there is a kind of economic downturn. I want to have a sustainable business that will be able to serve the cause that we are serving, which is the financial inclusion.
I really love that response that you just given. What other opportunities are you seeing in Francophone Africa? If you weren't building Hub2 right now, what African problem would you be solving?
There is two types of issue that are not two types, but like, I'm an engineer, so I'm kind of my head is working full time on solving issues. I guess that one of the first issues that I don't understand why there is a low penetration of photovoltaic solution for electricity across, I would say, at least French-speaking Africa, but in general everywhere. I can understand that, and I believe that with the continent situation, there must be something to do, and especially with the price of electricity everywhere, there must be something to do on that field. The second one is the plastic recycling. I do believe that we can have and we can provide sustainable solution to reuse this plastic, which is a huge issue for the environment, but also a huge waste because it's some resource that we can use to build homes, to build even roads, even whatever you want to build with it, but it has to be reused in a way, and it could create jobs, a lot of. And the last thing, because I love being near the sea, but I'm seeing a lot of algae that are on the beach that are kind of not used. And those things could be kind of re-engineered or reused in order to provide entrance to the agricultural feed. It has to be some scientific methods and some engineering behind that, but it's something possible because it has all necessary nutrients to help the crop grows. So
those are the two big problems.
Yeah, there are big problems, and I believe that technology could help us to solve some part of it.
Okay, you mentioned that you're an engineer. How much code are you writing on a day-to-day?
Well, not anymore. I was doing it before at the very beginning.
Yeah,
I'm a bad.
Not at all. You never get that itch, like you just want to build something and you just want to.
Yeah, now to be honest, I'm still, but I'm, as you say, I don't want to be the worst engineer in the engineering team, so that's also a struggle on my part. So no, but I'm still working actively on the architecture and the optimization of the platform, but it's more high level. It's more like from my previous experience, I can still process and be sharp on architecture, not on coding anymore. But to be honest, that's a very good question because I kind of hesitated that this year to train again on coding on some very specific technology for 3 months in a row. But to be honest, my partners in the business, etc., they would kind of suffer from it. So I feel it's not the right time for it. But last year I've done a very extensive training on the blockchain technology. So going into even coding. So it's more for my mindset to understand much more the technology. But yeah, so it will come. It will come. I need to find a slot, and I need to see when the company needs me in order to do that. But when the right time will come, I will try again because it's something that I miss.
Okay. Ashley, thank you so much for taking the time to come on. It's been exciting to see Africa's potential through your perspective. One last question. Where can listeners find you if they want to reach out or learn more?
Wow. Well, that's a good question. Nowhere, because I don't have Facebook, I don't have X, I don't have nothing. I just have a LinkedIn profile. I'm sorry for that. So I can, so it's nowhere to reach me.
Just LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Okay. How can they get through to Hub2?
So we have a website, which is www.hub2.io. And we will kind of improve our, I would say, marketing stuff and communication stuff in the following month. But we are more like, I would say, a bunch of engineers doing technical solutions than a bunch of marketing guys doing some PR stunts. So that's why we are kind of bad at it, but we will work on ourselves.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for coming on, Ashley.
Thank you very much.